Hi, hello, welcome everyone to Unlock Sales with Neeraj. Here I am Neeraj Palvi again, welcoming you to my channel yet again. Today we are going to talk about a very important thing that is associated with your career in sales. One of the most important things in sales is follow up. Follow up is the thing that will decide if you successfully get through to your customers, get those orders, get that business, or you don't get it. Follow up is the core. Now there are many ways of follow up. Follow up has been done in many different ways over the past so many years. Okay, so there are many ways that people will tell you of follow up, but very often are we told about the science behind follow up. We don't know the science behind follow up. Not many people teach us that. Not many people make us aware of it. Now our subconscious mind does know it. It is inbuilt in us how to follow up, the science of follow up. But as we grow and as our understanding increases, we stop relying on those methods that our subconscious mind already knows. We start relying more on our conscious mind. Right? So today we are going to touch upon those simple points that are there in your subconscious mind, which will help you follow up in a much better way and close your orders, close your business in a much better way. That will also enable your customer to fall in love with you. Your customer will want to give orders to you. That is how follow up needs to be done. We are going to touch on all those points today. Right? So the basic understanding of follow up is, we've approached a customer, we've offered him something, we've given him some pricing structure, we've given him some commercial details, and before taking, the customer asked for some time to close the deal. He had to discuss with his business partner, with his wife, with somebody, some person of interest or some important person, and then he could take decision. This is what the customer said. You just leave the meeting room and then you wait, then you call up or you visit. That is called follow up, right? Now according to science, it takes 7 follow-ups to close your order or to get that business. 7 follow-ups. Okay, so now the question is how you shorten this time frame, or how you finish these steps quickly, so that or from the date of your submission of your offer to the getting of the order is minimized. Now this is the question, right? The 7 steps of follow-up. What do you think follow-up is? Please write it in the comment section. What do you think follow-up means to you? Okay, I'll try and answer each and every comment of yours. Let's begin. Okay, so the first step of follow-up that we are always taught is, we call the consumer. We call the other person. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, sir. I had submitted an offer, I visited you, and we had discussed about it. You had asked me to call. So how do we move forward? The customer on the other side will say, okay, I haven't had the time to discuss. Call me on Wednesday or call me on Thursday. Okay, and hangs up. Now what have you done? What happens? You again wait for 3-4 days. You again call up. He still hasn't discussed, or he might give you some other reason, and things just keep on going like that, right? This is what majority of us have experienced in the past. And then suddenly, after some time, the consumer stops answering your calls, or he just bluntly says no. We have decided either otherwise. We are not going with you. Right? This is what happens to most of us. I have been through that as well, when I did not know how to follow up. Right? So I'm going to tell you something today that I have used. It has worked for me almost every single time. So now listen very carefully for the next 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, how we're going to do it. The first thing is, you approach the customer, you discuss with him, you send out everything, give him the offer, give him the explanation of your product and everything. The first thing you do after that meeting is you send them a thank you email stating it was a very pleasurable talking to you or discussing with you certain points that we discussed. Mention the date when you went to that customer, reiterate the points that you had discussed, reiterate the solutions you had discussed, could be the solutions, and reiterate all the details that you were going to do in the meanwhile before the follow-up, and the results that you're going to achieve by doing those things. Put this across in an email, send it over to the customer the same day in the evening of your visit, or the maximum the next day. This acts as your first follow-up step. Follow-up is not only calling or visiting or asking for the order. It is not like that. Follow-up is a different art. Follow-up is a different science. So this is the first step that you did. With the thank you email, you appreciated the customer for the time he shared with you, for his precious time that he gave to you. Then you also reiterated, you made him remember all the things that you discussed, the solutions, the probable solutions that were there, and the results that both of you were going to achieve with those, and whose responsibility was it to do what. So you reiterated the customer. This was a first follow-up. Okay, so now imagine how effective it could be. You've reminded the customer of everything, because the customer is never going to remember what was discussed, because he meets 10 different people, 50 different people in a day, and he cannot remember everything, right? So you've done half his job for him. He'll be happy for that. The next follow-up is, your customer told you to call you on Thursday. You're on a Monday. Okay, so now what you do is, generally we wait till Thursday because we've been told to do that, right? No, what I do is, on Tuesday I find something that would interest the customer. It will something that will be beneficial for him, something that will be beneficial for his business. It could be a write-up, it could be a story, it could be a new tax revision, it could be some opportunity that is coming which could benefit the customer. So there's something that could benefit the customer, something that could make the customer want to go through it, something of interest of the customer that is beneficial for his business, right? Share that with that customer. It could be over the email, it could be over WhatsApp, it could be over text, it could be on social media, anywhere. That is your second follow-up. Follow-up doesn't mean calling and asking for the order. Follow-up means keeping in touch with the consumer. Or what you've done with this is, the second time, you've added value to the customer. You added value to your consumer without even asking. You've given him something that might be of his interest, right? So you've created an impression about you again on the customer's mind. You've not let him forget you, right? Then on the Wednesday, because you've got to meet him on Thursday, or call him on Thursday. So on Wednesday you write an email to him, just reminding him that you have an appointment tomorrow for a visit or a call or a discussion or anything, and you just reiterate your previous meeting points on it and send it over to him. It acts as a second follow-up. Then on Thursday, or the day that was appointed, you go to the customer or you call up the customer, you discuss again what you had discussed in the first meeting. Everything you reiterate, the solution, the points that were going to be taken, the results that were going to be achieved, all you discuss, and then you start your conversation from where you left it on Monday. This saves you a lot of time, because you don't have to go through the entire conversation again. Now you just starting from the point where you left, right? So it saves a lot of time. And in the meanwhile, by the time an average salesman would have done his first follow-up, you're already on the fourth stage of your follow-up. This is the fourth time you're talking to the customer, or you're discussing with the customer, or you're making your impression on the customer. So this is already the fourth follow-up. So you give him what was discussed to be given on Thursday, you do everything, and then you do more closing. You ask the customer. So now this was to be achieved, this has been achieved, this were the results to be achieved, now these are the results that we've got. So what do you think? Let's move forward and close the deal. It is a mock closing. Customer will give you some rebuttals. The price is too high, I need some time to think, the bank has not yet approved, my business partner has not yet approved, I need a week's time, I have a business meeting planned right next after this, so I'm a little tied up now to take this decision, I'm not ready for this decision. This is nothing but the customer is really not very comfortable giving you the order at this point of time, because the trust might not have been built until now. Okay, so you back off. You don't push the customer to close it right then and there, because you're not there yet. Your rapport is not there yet. Your trust has not been built to that level yet. So take a step back. No problem, sir. It's perfectly fine. You can let me know when do you want us to discuss it further, so that in the meanwhile I can work on this thing again, and I can present you what all benefits you are going to get, even more benefits. You tell this customer like that. Before getting off that meeting or before getting off that call, make sure that you take time for the next meeting or the next phone call or next follow-up. Do that, right? Now the customer asks you to give him a week's time again. You say fine, no problem. You get back after the meeting. Again go down to your desk, write your email. Thank you for the courtesy extended during the visit or during the phone call. Reiterate the points you have discussed. Reiterate the solutions you have discussed. Reiterate the next steps that you are going to take, and just mention the responsibility that who's going to take those steps and what are the results that you're going to achieve. Send it to the customer. This acts as your fifth follow-up. The customer is reminded again. Again, look for something that might be of interest to the customer, that might some business idea, some new productivity tool, something that the customer would benefit from. Send it over to the customer. Add value. When you add value to the customer you keep building the rapport, you keep building the emotional bank account with the customer. Like a bank account where there is money, there is emotional bank account with the customer, where you keep on depositing so that you can withdraw it when it is a time, when the time truth is there, when there is time, you can withdraw from that emotional bank account from the customer. When you're negotiating, when you're closing the order, when you're asking for money, you can withdraw some things from those emotional bank accounts. But for you to withdraw it from there, you have to first deposit. How you will deposit is by value addition. You'll keep on adding value to the consumer. Okay, giving him something that he was not expecting from you. There is a tax law change in your area, in your industry. You think it will be beneficial if the customer knows it before. Most of the people know it before it comes out. Through a source you've gotten information on that. Send it to the customer. It adds value. Send some interesting article to the customer. It adds value to him. You might have, when you visited the customer, you might have seen him doing something for his kids, like collecting his stamps. His kid might like stamps and collect them. So you find some interesting stamps, some unique stamps. Just send it over to him, or just hand it over, go and give it to him, and don't talk about your order, but just give it to him. Sir, I had seen you do this for your kid, and I just found them, so I thought it would be helpful to you, you'd be glad to have it. I just came down to give this to you, or I just sent it over to you. You can write a letter and put it in the courier and send it to the consumer. This will create a value. This will create an emotional bank account. This will create a connect between you and your consumer. This will create a rapport. This will build trust on you. Then when the appointed day is there, before that day, again you write an email. So this is what we had discussed previously. And then in the last meeting we discussed this. These were the results of the first meeting. This were achieved. This is the second meeting. These were achieved. Now we have to meet again tomorrow, and you open everything up for him, right? You've reminded him from day 1 to day 0. Now you've told him about everything. This was a sixth step of follow-up. You've crammed those 6 steps. You didn't have to call him 7 times, or you didn't have to visit him 7 times, as per the law of follow-up, that it takes 7 follow-ups to close a deal or close an order. So you've shortened that, right? In 2 weeks time you've already done those 6 steps. Although when you reach the customer, it is already the 7th step. Your emotional bank account is high. You've got the rapport with the customer. You've started building trust. You again go to the customer. You reiterate everything from the beginning. Everything from the beginning. The first meeting, the results that were going to be achieved. The second meeting, what you discussed in that, what results were achieved, and what was supposed to be done in this coming week. And you tell him with the time frame, and you remind him of everything. Now this is value addition. Customer did not have to go through, did not have the hassle to remember it or to find what was done and what was not done, because you've been doing that for him and giving it to him on platter. Now you pitch your product again. Now when you pitch your product, you've already built trust. You've already built your rapport with the consumer. And now this is the time you ask for the order. Now you don't ask for the order like, tell me now, how do we move forward? It is not like that. You don't give that control into other person's hand. You can do this. When you've done everything and it is time for you to ask the order and the money for the order, you do this. So now we discussed this. These were your problems, sir. These were the solutions that we as a company provided you, and this was your suggestion on this. Then we did this. So this is the result that is coming, and this looks beneficial to you as well. Take a yes. Then if this is beneficial to you, is it okay that we move forward today in closing this? Take a yes. Then ask for the order. So when everything is being done for you, now let's go ahead, close the deal, and let's sign the paper so that we can move forward into implementation of this project or this process or whatever it is. That is the time when it is most difficult for the customer to say no, because he's already said yes, yes, yes to so many things of yours. A human being does not like to contradict himself. So when you've got yeses before asking for the order, the probability of you getting a yes for that order increases by at least 75 to 80%. So always remember, make sure that you take certain yes, 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 yes from the consumer when you're asking questions. Don't worry, don't be afraid of asking the orders, don't be afraid of asking questions, because asking questions is what a salesman's job is. That is the most important and the most critical thing. That is how you will succeed. Follow-up is not only calling and asking for order. Follow-up is so much different. Like we just discussed, you need to share so many things with the customer. You have to be attentive to what your customer needs, what your customer's interests are, what he is saying through his body language, what he is not saying through words. You have to be attentive to it. And believe me on this, you will succeed if you follow all these steps. More often than not, you will be able to close your orders, be it high ticket, be it medium ticket, be it small ticket. This is the way you move forward. This can help you in going the long way. This is going to help you in doing your follow-up and minimizing the sales cycle. This will also help you in asking for the money if you give your products on credit. Same follow-up procedure can be used for asking your money as well, for your payments as well, without even hurting the customer. Customer will very happily give you orders, give you payments, and give you anything that you ask him for. This is how you do it. I hope you like today's technique or today's lesson. If you've liked it, please comment in the comment box, and do subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn. We are here to help you. We'll be coming up with more such videos, and you keep commenting in the comment section of what more you want from us, so that we can go ahead, have a look at it and go through them and make the videos that you also want, apart from these topics. Okay, so thank you once again for being with us, and do keep sharing this video with your friends and family so that more and more people can watch and benefit. Thank you.